Hi, my name's Charlie Thorburn. Welcome to Mordor Gundogs. This is Pino, and this is Ash. We're basically going to go out and do a training session with Pino. Pino is sort of 16-month-old black Labrador female. We've bred her. Her mum's called Merlot. You're kind of getting the theme. And she's going to end up, she's a pretty smart dog. She's pretty far on in her training. She's been out working. She's done a lot of training on long distance retrieves and complicated things. She's a very clever dog. She really gets what she's meant to be doing. So we're just going to go off. We're going to start with her, just a bit of heel on the lead, off the lead, sitting, staying, sitting on the whistle, some basic retrieves, some more complicated retrieves, and we're just going to build her up over the course of the next probably half an hour doing a training session, which would be a typical training session. Manners. It's all about the basic manners. If you look after the dog pennies, the dog pounds look after themselves. Waiting at gates, waiting at doors, waiting in the back of the car, waiting out the back of the car, not getting into the car till she's told, not getting out the car till she's told. It's all about just having this nice dog that's constantly looking and asking permission and doing it on our terms, not on her terms. Sitting and staying is the bedrock to any really good Labrador, any really good gun dog, to be honest, but particularly a Labrador, because they've got to sit and wait for hours waiting for things to happen. Always go back to the dog, because what you do by going back to the dog is you create a really calm, relaxed dog. If Ash was to walk away and constantly call her off the sit and stay, she's going to be sitting there on her starter blocks like Usain Bolt, ready to go. Now I'm going to just add in a bit of complication here. I'm just going to walk past her. Ash is probably going to just sort of move around as well. We're just sort of building up the temptation for her, so that it's harder and harder for her to remain seated and remain calm. You can see her eyes are absolutely transfixed on Ash. I can do a little leap around. She briefly looks at me, and then she just looks back at Ash, because as far as she's concerned, nothing in this world happens without his permission, okay? And that's what we wanted. You know, these guys are unbelievably loyal if you encourage them to be so. She's just looking at him, just picking up some grass, throwing it around, anything just to create a distraction. People ask sometimes, how did the dog transition onto a new owner? Dogs are incredibly fickle. She's totally loyal to Ash, but if Ash went out of the picture and he went back up to the house, I kept her on the lead, she'd just sit there looking at me in exactly the same way. So don't worry about that in terms of whether a dog's going to transition their loyalty onto a new person. They're just happy to be out and happy to be doing stuff. So as soon as they work out who's in charge, they're all over them. So whenever we go out with a dog to start their training, we always want to make their life as easy as possible. We want to make them get their confidence, build them up. So he's just stood the dummy up, he's walking her away at heel. Out. So the word to send her, as we say, is out. Quick look at the camera, not quite sure what that was, but didn't interrupt her job. She's still straight into her job. And then she whizzes back, stands there with the dummy, encourages her into a nice sitting position, praises her. She's holding on to it, and then he takes it off her. Now he's going to do the same in the other direction, so he's going to leave a memory over there, and he's going to walk her back towards us at heel again. So always at heel. Her default position as a trained Labrador, in the traditional sense of the word, Labradors are meant to be at heel. They are retrieving dogs. You can train them to flush, but they're meant to be a retrieving dog. If they're going to be just a retrieving dog, then that heel position is key, and she should just be glued to his heel the whole time. And you can see almost she's so glued to his heel, it's actually a little bit irritating because she's knocking against him. Pause. He lines her up. She knows exactly what's happening, but she's waiting for permission, and away she goes. Lots of praise, encouragement. Don't be too quick to take the retrieve off her. We want her to be quite happy to be sitting next to us with the retrieve, because she might need to mark another one. She might need to just be patient while another dog's taking a retrieve off them. So he's thrown 2 dummies out at a kind of 50-degree angle, lines her up, sends her for the first one. And the point of this is just to show that she's got control and she's going in the direction that we want her to go, not the direction that she thinks she wants to go. And often they want to go in the direction they last or retrieve. Then she'd got it. So I didn't want to talk while she was hunting. I didn't want to put her off, but she came out and she knew it was in this area, and so she hunted the area quite nicely, but didn't get a wind of it because it had I tucked it right in behind a good tussock of grass. But she hunted the area. It's really important to leave the dog to do their job. If she buggered off halfway across the field, yeah, we've got to stop her and bring her back. But she's in the zone. She's really close to being in the zone. So we just leave her to it. She hunted really nicely, and then boom. And that confidence of her finding it herself just builds her enthusiasm and her confidence for the next one. So we're going to do exactly the same thing again, and just it'll be interesting to see how she improves just off that bit of confidence. And bang, straight away. There's just a huge difference there, and that's why it's really important to build that confidence with those first few retrieves, because it just sets them up to succeed. Like all of us, if we succeed at something, we just get that enthusiasm to try harder. If we fail, we're like, oh God, we failed, I'm not sure I can do it. And it takes a certain type of person to really go for it with the same vigor and enthusiasm. So when Pinot came down to that retrieve, she didn't come on a straight line to the mark. She just kept slightly outside the wind. So when she came down here, she then hunted the wind, and that's the sign, in my view, of a really naturally good dog, rather than a dog who's just robotic and goes where they're told. That's a dog who's using their own natural instincts and ability. So she came downwind of it, boom, boom, and picked it because she picked up the wind. If she'd just come the wrong side of it, if she tried to go straight onto the wind of it, straight onto it, and she'd just been the wrong side of the wind, she'd have ended up missing it and making a meal of it, because she was the correct side of the wind, i.e. downwind. She used that incredible nose and bang, she got it straight away. So he's dropping a memory retrieve, and then he's going to head off into the distance. So you can see by her focus and concentration that she knows exactly what's happening. And what we're doing with this dummy launcher is we're teaching them gun sense. It looks like a gun. It makes a noise like a gun, and when Ash fires it, something drops out of the sky. So she's working against the wind here, so she's going with her back to the wind, straight away from it, so that's always a harder retrieve. She comes back, she gives it to him nicely, and then he just turns her around and sends her back for that 100-yard or so memory. Out. Oh. Straight back, no bother. She knew exactly where it was, even after the distractions of the shot and walking away. I can't reiterate enough, these guys make Elon Musk's work ethic look pretty weak. They are born and bred to work. They have been bred for hundreds of years to work. All they want to do is work. So we fire a blank shot into the long grass to give the dog the idea that there is something being shot there. The dog's scent, she runs out, she starts hunting. She looks for it, doesn't find it because there isn't anything there. But it's often the case that you send a dog for something and they can't find it, it's not there, and you need to be able to call them back. So Ash then calls her back. Halfway back, he stops her because he's hidden another dummy, and he gives her a command to look for the other one, and she finds it. So it's just having that little bit of control that the dog's out looking for something they think they know where it is, and actually it turns out the handler knows best. So we want to work together with the dog to make sure they understand that it's not always what they know that they know best, and it's not always the handler knows best, and sometimes it's a team effort. But there needs to be a good balance between both dog and handler having ability and confidence in each other. So we've got Pino sitting out there at a distance. Lindsay's going to fire a shot, throw a dummy. Pino's going to hear the shot, see the dummy, go, "Oh, I want to get that." Ash is going to call her back towards him, stop her. All being well, if she behaves and she listens, she's then going to be sent back for the retrieve. If she doesn't listen, we pick up the retrieve. We won't let her do it. We're rewarding good behaviour.
Back.